Hi, this is Mark Arnold, and I'm on Fun Ideas podcast number 112. Today we have two special guests. One is Charles Rosenay, who's been on here many times, and he brings great guests with us, particularly the musical variety. And today on the phone with us is from Spanky and Our Gang, Spanky McFarlane. Yay!
Yay!
Thank you. Hi, Mark. Hi, Charles.
Hi, Spanky. How are you?
Good.
We
We'll just leave it at that.
we've spoken through the years, but it was about 10 or 11 years ago where we got to hang out somewhat because you came to our Beatles Expo in Connecticut and also to RockCon, which was the weekend of 100 rock stars.
That was so great, and I can't believe it's been that long. Wow.
So, Mark, what I just want to share with you before we start bombarding Spanky with some questions is we had this weekend of 100 rock stars in the Meadowlands in New Jersey, and it was epic. I mean, Tommy James and Al Jardine and Little Anthony and Spanky and just Mary Wilson, on and on and on, these great people. And it wasn't just them, being stars. They were just hanging out with everybody and signing autographs and meeting fans and then singing on stage. And actually, Spanky was the recipient of the Rock Con Icon Award. So that was...
Right. I still have my little trophy.
Yay!
I don't get too many trophies, so,
We thought it was going to be like a an annual event, and it was going to be televised for years to come, but it was a one shot and it was really special. So Spanky, thank you for being part of that, and thank you for being on Mark's show today.
Well, it's my pleasure, you guys. Really.
All right. Did you want to start with questions, or I start, or what?
I'd love for you to start, Mark. Yeah.
Okay. I guess the main thing is, we always start at the beginning and, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to be a singer and how you got involved with Spanky and Our Gang, and then later the new Mamas and Papas and like that. Just a brief summary.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah. And then we'll hang up.
Just summarize 40 years of your career.
Yeah. Or the first years.
But anyway, my mother said I was born singing. I could sing before I could talk, and I was born in the 40s, so radio was big, and my mother always had the radio on. She loved the music, and I would sing along with the radio. And I was the youngest of 8 at that time, and then my little brother came along after I turned 6, and I had been the baby for 6 years, so when my brother came, it was like, oh, I just became one of the kids. It was like, oh man, this really sucks. But he's adorable, and I love him still. He's great, my brother Mikey. But anyway, being from a big Catholic family, it's trippy. It's very trippy. One of my older sisters became a nun, and my parents thought that was their ticket to heaven.
Wow.
Like they used to with the, oh, I thought I should be a priest. But anyway, she was a nun, but she didn't stay around too long, not very long. In fact, she was at a boarding school, and she was teaching there as a nun, and I went to the boarding school, and I lasted 3 weeks. Oh dear. Am I telling too much?
No, we love it.
So then we'll move on to I was graduating in high school, and then I went up to Chicago, and a bunch of my girlfriends, we all had this job, and it was an insurance company. I think it was State Farm, and we all had jobs there. But at night, we would, enjoy Chicago, shall we say. And we lived on the near north side, and there was lots of interesting places. And one place we went to a lot was called the Pickle Pickle.
Pickle.
Coffee house. And one night they had, today you'd probably call it open mic. There, I think it was called a hootenanny or something. I'm not sure what. But anyway, my girlfriend dared me to get up and sing. And I was like in, jeans and a sweatshirt. It was like my big number, but I did get up and sing. And the owner of the club tried to hire me.
Wow.
I was going, what? And it went on from there. I went there more and more, and I sang more and more. Got to know more people.
Wait. Do you remember do you remember what song you sang the first time?
Oh boy, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't. I wonder if anybody does. I don't think anybody's old enough to remember that night, but it was fun. I know that. Oh, I'd have to think about really long and hard about what song it could have been. But anyway, I was listening to, Bob Dylan and Joan Baez and Pete Seeger and the Weavers, and I loved all of them very much and wanted to sing that kind of music. So I got me a boyfriend who he and I and Roger McGuinn, who was Jimmy McGuinn then, formed this little trio called the Old Town Trio. And we would go to this place called the Gate of Horn, and we would listen to Bob Gibson and Bob Camp. And then we'd steal their songs, and we'd go down to Oak Street Beach and spend the whole night down there playing and singing on the beach and stealing their material.
Those were the days.
Does anybody remember them?
Barely.
Bob Gibson and Bob Camp, oh man, they were great. They really were. They were cute. They were studly. And they had it going on at that time. We're talking middle 60s. Yeah. Okay. So I got to be kind of well known in that area, and I had an uncle who had a place called the Plug Nickel, and they had jazz, but it was Chicago jazz, New Orleans style jazz.
Yes.
Not the kind you think of today, but Dixieland style.
Yeah.
Well, I got a job there. Somebody had to work. But anyway, I got a job there as a hat check girl. But certain songs that the band played, I knew, and I would get up and sing with them. So this went on for a while. And some friends of mine came up from Florida and came in and found me working there. And somehow we progressed to get to this club called Mother Blues, where we knew everyone. We knew Mother Blue. We knew Curly Tate, who was running it for her. And we got a job there as a trio. It was me, Oz Bach, and Nigel Pickering. Okay. And we sang every song that we knew. We sang every song I knew, every song Nigel knew, and every song Oz knew. And in between, we do comedy bits to fill in the time. And they had a 6 weeks long, I think that's correct, jazz festival. And they had everybody there. And we were the opening act. And I remember these patrons who had come for the jazz. They would just kind of look at us and go, what? Because, I played a washboard, Oz played a kazoo, and Nigel played the 12 string, and we were singing songs like Nagasaki, going back to Nagasaki where the bells to Quebec, the women wicky wacky woo. Sure. Yeah.
And you did all the vocals?
Oh yeah, the three of us did vocals. Yeah, we were three parts then.
Right.
And we just kept adding to that. We couldn't think of a name, so temporarily we were going to call it Spanky and Our Gang. Well, we started getting really good reviews in the local papers, and so we couldn't change the name because we'd already started something. So that's how I became the boss of the gang.
Sure.
Believe me, the guys weren't happy about that. Anyway, we had a great time, and it went on from there. Mercury Records came in one night and saw us and immediately wanted to sign us. And we never dreamed we'd have a choice of recording companies. So we signed with Mercury Records.
Yeah.
And we had our first hit, which was Sunday Will Never Be the Same. And it went on from there with Lazy Day, Like to Get to Know You, Sunday Morning. I can't even remember them all. But
give a damn.
Oh yeah, Give a Damn, yeah.
And Yesterday's Rain was one.
Yesterday's Rain.
Anyway, so we took that group. By now it was six. There were six of us. Or was it five? Let's see. It was me, Nigel, Oz, Malcolm Hale, and we stole Judy Hensky's drummer, John Sider. So there were five of us. But we moved to New York, and Oz left the band, and we got Lefty Baker and Kenny Hodges. So now there's six of us. And we go on the Ed Sullivan Show. And it was kind of funny because my mom and dad, or my dad mostly, had disowned me for like being in Chicago and wasting my life. And then I was on TV, with a show he watched every Sunday night, and it was like, oh,
wow.
I think that's my daughter.
You made it with your dad right there. That was key. Ed Sullivan.
Yeah, he wanted me to come home and sing in my church choir, and I said, no, nothing doing, and I went on TV instead, and so that was the beginning of it all, and we had a bunch of hits, and we had a great time.
Can you give us the chorus of Someday We'll Never Be the Same?
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Come on.
No, because you'll probably use it.
All right. I tried.
We'll never
Be the same. That's it.
I've lost my Sunday song. He'll not be back again. I have kind of a breathing issue right now, so I'm not singing very much. I really miss it too, because quite frankly, that's the only thing I really know how to do is sing. I never
sound great. You always sound
great.
great.
To do anything else.
You're a legend. You sound amazing.
Now I have a couple questions considering you mentioned it. You said you did little comedy bits in the first place before you got big, as it were. What did that consist of? Telling jokes, or what did you do?
Just stupid stuff, you know. We'd talk about a song, and Nigel would say, how did that go? I said, oh, it's right here on the tip of my tongue. Then I'd stick out my tongue, and then he'd read my tongue. You know,
That's cool.
Kind of like vaudeville.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Was that
I try to think of something that we did.
was that to amuse the crowd or yourselves?
Well,
Probably both.
That's funny you should say that, because every night Nigel and I would think of something backstage to do to surprise the band. Some little twist or turn or trick or something. Because, you know, you can't do the same thing every night.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't get people in the band that were particularly good, although they were good. I got people that I really loved. So we could all just have a great time, and we did.
Oh, so cool.
Another question I have. Obviously, your name is very close to Spanky McFarlane of the real Our Gang, or Little Rascals. Did you ever meet him ever in your lifetime?
Well, Howard Stern was going to have us both on on the radio show one time, but he didn't want to do it. He was mad at me. I did not know him, but he was mad at me for using that name. Well, my real name was McFarlane, and I got Spanky as a nickname, and it stuck. I mean, I didn't mean it as anything but maybe a tribute to him, because I loved that Little Rascals.
Oh,
yeah.
They were so cute. But he took it wrong, you know, and we never really got together. Too bad.
Oh.
It could have been called Spanky and Her Gang, and there never would have been an issue.
That's true. You're right. I like the Our Gang.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
Spanky and
that's
Spanky.
changed over the years. I mean, people were in and out. Some people passed away, and but our gang changed, but Spanky never did.
Right. Now, you mentioned Ed Sullivan show. I mean, I have a list. I'll just rattle them off, I guess. Were there any memories of the other shows you did? I have like Hollywood Palace, John Davidson, Merv Griffin, Kraft Music Hall, Tonight Show.
Wow, you guys were everywhere.
Yeah, one of our earliest gigs was the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and we were standing there waiting to go on, and they had a commercial, and during the commercial, Johnny Carson got up with a giant stick and went over and started poking the band like they were animals in a zoo cage. It was really weird. He was a wild man, and then he'd sit back down and act like nothing happened,
That's so weird.
It was fun. And Ed Sullivan, oh my God, you got me going now. Ed Sullivan, first of all, you would spend a week there. You would go there on Monday, and you would stay there until the next Sunday. You had to be there every day. No matter what order you came on the show, you had to wait all day for the whole week. So our dressing room was way up on the catwalk, way up above the stage. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I think we were on several times, and they had a director there named Tim Kaiser, and he's still around. I think he directed or produced Will and Grace. Anyway, he's a great guy. But he would see us coming, and he'd say, "Okay, what do you guys want to do?" And he'd let us do skits and stuff to our songs, which was really fun. But the thing about Ed apparently had been in some really bad car wreck. So he was taking something, I don't know what, but I don't know. I don't want to say it was morphine, but something really heavy.
Okay.
And he would fall asleep. They would bring him back out, after while the act was on, whatever was on, and then he would go out and introduce the next act with cue cards. All of a sudden, I can't talk. And so
he'd go back to sleep after every set?
Went to sleep while the acts were on. They propped him up on one of those, it's like an ironing board, but you stand up and you rest back into it, and so your clothes don't get messed up, you're still standing, but you can sleep there. And then they'd wake him up and push him out of the curtains, and he'd go out and say, I remember he was introducing the who were the girls that had the Supremes?
Diana,
the Supremes, yeah.
Mary Wilson.
He was introducing the Supremes, right?
Yeah.
And he said, and now, I think he couldn't find the cue cards or something, because he said, and now there's 3 young Negro performing girls.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, yeah. He sure did. And I guess Diana Ross went crazy. But anyway, and he used to screw up all the time, and we loved it, of course. One time we were singing a song, and he walked over, and he took Nigel's hat off and put it on Lefty and pounded it down on his head while we were trying to sing.
Wow.
It was crazy times. Of course, he could do whatever he wanted.
Of course. So Johnny Carson whipped you, and
No, he didn't whip me. No, he didn't.
No.
I wish he would have. He was great, though. All those people, Mike Douglas. We did the Hollywood Palace with not Nina Simone. Who's the one?
Red Skeleton?
No, the lady who sang "Stormy Weather."
Not Leslie Uggams.
No,
Stormy weather. Oh, stormy weather. No,
Yeah.
Stormy weather.
Oh, you know the song, yeah.
We're not. Billie Holiday sang it, and I think a bunch of Bessie
She was
Smith.
in the movies a lot.
Bessie Smith sang it. I mean,
No. Later than that.
later than that, yeah.
She wrote a book too. She gave me a book. Sorry, I can't remember things. You get to be my age.
That's all right. We should know too. We're music people, and we don't know.
But I'm rattling names in my head.
I'm thinking
With
of
Nina Herd.
Who?
Nina Horn. Okay.
Oh, Lena Horne. Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
Excuse me.
And she gave us all her book, and she, you would go and you'd meet these people and maybe never see them again. But you couldn't forget somebody like Lena Horne. She was a class act.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, speaking of class acts, we got to get this in because, Charles and I are working on a Turtles project. And I know you were in the Happy Together documentary years ago talking about being in a love pile. I always like that part. So did you encounter them a lot back in the day?
Playing in Chicago, and the Turtles were playing in one of the suburbs, some nightclub, and they went late. We did a concert, and they were going late, so we went out to visit them. And they invited me on stage, and I'm not sure if other members of my band went up there too, but I know I got up there. We were singing Happy Together. All of a sudden, we started hugging each other, and we got into a dog pile on the stage, laughing. We couldn't stop laughing. You had to kind of be there. It was crazy. The Turtles were a lot of fun. There was nobody singing like Howard Kalen, except maybe Denny Doherty from the Mamas and Papas. Those two voices, those men both had golden throats, I call them. I mean, they could do no wrong vocally. They just had beautiful, beautiful tone, beautiful pitch, beautiful voices.
Did you stay in touch with Howard or any of the guys through the years?
I do hear from the Turtles once in a while. I hear from Mark Feldman. I guess Howard is not touring anymore. I'm sorry to hear that.
Right.
But we go way back. My husband was the road manager for a while, so it's all pretty complex.
What years was your husband there, the road manager for the Turtles?
I believe it was 67, 68, 69, around that time, somewhere in there.
Now, what is his name? There's a road manager mentioned on the Rhythm Butchers Turtles records. Like he recorded these wacky recordings in the hotel rooms and stuff. So what was his name?
Well, there was Charlie Galvin, that was my husband, and there was Carlos Bernal.
Okay.
And then Jimmy Sider, who was our drummer's brother.
Oh, okay.
So 6 degrees of separation all around.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you have any association with the Monkees at all, Spanky?
Well, kind of. We did a tour with them. Let's see. I was already with Eric at that time. Oh, what year was it? I don't know. I think it was late 80s. I think we toured with them. Sorry, I can't remember too much about it.
That's okay. I'm just curious about that, and if you ever had any encounters with the Beatles at all.
Well, I know when we played, when Spanky and Our Gang played in England, we went to a club called, I think it was called The Cave, and I heard that Paul McCartney was there, but by the time I got off the stage and went to check it out, he was gone. Let's see, who else?
Did you work with or meet the Mamas and Papas back in the day? I know you were in the group later, but back in the 60s?
I was in the group later, but I met Cass. I didn't know Denny or John or Michelle, but Cass came through Chicago before the Mamas and Papas.
Oh.
And she and I met, and we were fast friends. And I used to say we used to hang out at this bar, and we would pick up guys. And then pick up guys. But I was kidding. It was so much fun.
Now, was this when Cass was in the Big Three?
I'm sorry, what?
Was this when Cass was in the Big Three?
Yes.
Okay.
She went up to New York and did the Big Three. And then I heard her maybe a year or two later on the radio singing California Dreamin'. And she inspired me. I said, oh man, I can do that. So that's what made me start Spanky and Our Gang. Because I realized if you put the right voices together, it can sound pretty glorious.
Mhm.
Did the two of you ever perform together or do any recordings together?
No.
That would have been special.
But, I took her place in the Mamas and Papas after she died.
Yeah.
Right.
Years later. So I always felt her spirit around us.
And what was that lineup? It was yourself, Denny?
That was me, Denny, John, and Mackenzie Phillips, John's daughter.
Right, which was historic in its own right. And how long was that band together?
I think it was like 10 years.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I have it written down like 82 to 93 or something like that. So.
Yeah, through to 93. Now, tell us, now you've done recording since then too, right? You put out some solo albums and you stayed in the music business?
Have I?
I'm asking.
Oh, you're asking. Okay. I can't think right now what I've done lately. I'm pretty much retired and having health issues, which really sucks. You get to be my age and it's like,
With your personality, you should be hosting these podcasts.
Yes.
You should be doing these interviews, and you should be getting, guests to chat with you. I mean,
that would be so much fun.
you've always had the great singing voice, but you have, a bigger than life personality too.
Well, if we ever want to do it by phone, that's fine with me. Let me know.
Well, we can always do that. I had a quick question about Mamas and Papas songs. I mean, and this is just out of curiosity, is like two of your big hits had Sunday in the title. Was that a good day for you, or did it just happen to be coincidence that they both had Sunday in the title?
Well, it was the day that we had, supposedly it was our day off.
Okay.
Right.
But a day off meant like interviews and photos and whatever else they could squeeze in. I mean, we were always busy, but it was our favorite day of the week, and it was kind of a coincidence that we had two songs about Sunday, but it was a great day for us.
Spanky, we know that the Mamas and the Papas and the Monkees and so many of the bands, had the Wrecking Crew do a lot of the recordings. Were they behind Spanky and Our Gang as well, or did your band?
Yes, they were. Yes, they were.
And so were you at the sessions where they played and you sang, or was that done separately?
I was always at the sessions, no matter who was playing, if it was our music. Yeah.
So you Hal Blaine.
Our producers were Stuart Sharp and Bob Duro, and they knew and played with all those guys. So we had our pick, I mean, I didn't pick them, they picked them.
Yeah.
But they always picked the finest players, and, we really had lovely choices.
And do you remember some of the characters? Do you remember Louis Shelton or Glenn Campbell being in it? Do you remember Hal Blaine? Do you remember any of the musicians?
I remember Hal Blaine, but Glenn Campbell was long gone. I think he had his TV show by then, or he was gearing up for it. Although one day I remember, I don't remember what show it was, but Glenn Campbell and excuse me, and Spanky and Our Gang were on the same show. It could have been Mike Douglas, I'm not sure. But anyway, I was in the makeup room and I was getting made up, and all of a sudden Glenn Campbell came in. And they made me get up out of the chair and give me my chair so they could put his makeup on. It was like, whoa, thank you. But he was a sweetheart.
We know the pecking order now.
Pecking order, right. God had walked in the room or something like that.
Did you encounter other artists that worked there? I mean, recorded there, like Sonny and Cher, or?
The whole world was George Carlin.
George Carlin, wow.
Very, very close.
Wow.
Didn't see him that much, but we were very close. When he first started going on the Tonight Show, he we were all in New York, and we would hang out with whatever was going on. We would do it with him, and he was great. This is weird, but when after O.J. Simpson or whatever happened with his wife Nicole Brown, George took me for a ride in his car, and he said, "I'm going to take you on the route that O.J. took that night."
Uh-oh.
Wow.
It's like, oh my Lord, he was into it. But one day he took me to his house and sat me down in his office and said, "I'm going to play you my favorite songs of yours, Spanky." I said, "Really?" Okay. And he did. He proceeded to pick from, he had all our albums, of course, and he proceeded to pick out his favorite songs and play them for me. It was, I mean, who does that?
That's so sweet. That's so
It was
amazing.
very sweet.
And
He was a wonderful man.
Spanky, can I ask you about the Happy Together tour? When was that? And did you only do that once, or was that multiple times?
I did it multiple times. First with Spanky and Our Gang using Gary Puckett's band, and then the Mamas and Papas. When I went back with them, then they got on us got on the Happy Together tour. So I would say I probably did it at least 3 years. You know.
That's cool.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, it was a summer thing.
Yes.
Yeah, didn't go all year long, but.
No, it still goes on in the summer, I guess.
Is
Last
it
year.
still going on?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, because Howard isn't touring with the Turtles, Ron Dante is doing the leads with Mark as the
How
Turtles.
did it sound?
We haven't heard it yet. I think it's supposed to be great, but last year, it didn't tour for the first time because of COVID, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes I forget there's COVID until I step outside. Then it's like, there's everybody.
And where are you? Where in the world are you located?
Well, I'm up in Northern California.
Oh, wow.
Say where I live. Enough people know.
Well, we won't give your address, but Northern California is good.
Yeah, that's where I come from. I'm in Oregon now, so.
All right. You know what's good about this place, then?
Yeah, I grew up in San Jose and San Francisco, so those are my areas.
Oh, okay. I'm a little further north.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure where you resided nowadays. So.
100%. Oh my gosh, this is great, and we're getting tidbits that we wouldn't have known otherwise, and the listeners are getting exposed to someone who just isn't out there a lot. I know that you're a legend to so many, and everyone has your singles and some albums probably even. So this is amazing. This is such an honor.
They don't have them; their parents have them.
Right.
Well, thank you for thinking of me. Can you tell me, is this going to be played, or is it going to be in a book, or what's the deal?
This will be. I do usually a weekly podcast. Right now, I'm kind of every other week, which is fine. I usually upload them on the internet every Tuesday. So, I have to do like little edits and stuff like that and fine tune it. But then once I get it done, I'll probably upload it next Tuesday.
Okay.
And then hopefully we'll take, a few of your comments, calling Howard a golden voice was awesome. We'll probably find a way to include that in the Turtles book.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Great.
So we do double duty around here.
Well, it sounds like you guys have it going on. It's nice to know that someone is still around that still loves the music. Now, Charles, aren't you on the Antique Roadshow once in a while?
I've never been, but I would love to be.
Well, I thought you were the record expert.
I'm not. No, I'm not an expert on anything. I'm a fellow fan, a sometimes promoter, a sometimes DJ, a sometimes actor. I'm a sometimes everything.
Okay, you're a sometimes guy. That's all right.
But before we wrap, I'm going to let Mark do a rap and end it. And then I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, to give me a line for something separate. So I'm going to, So Mark, whenever you want to do a closing, you're good.
All right. Well, this has been fun.
Can I
This
you can cut this out. Can you let me know when it's gonna play
I'm
and
gonna-
how I can hear it?
Yeah, I'll get you the link. Yeah,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
definitely.
So
I'm not very computer savvy, so you might have to.
We'll figure it out. I'll work with
Yeah.
you.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because you did a great job. I know
Yeah.
you're like tentative, but you really rocked it. You were awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I do have this really bad cough, so you heard it.
Doing fine for me. I do appreciate you coming on the show today. And I want to thank Charles Rosenay and I want to thank Spanky McFarlane for being my special guest on this episode of Fun Ideas Podcast. And we'll see you next time.